Hi guys, this is Kristy from Exercise Authorities and the Salon Spa and Fitness Studio. Just doing the Ask the Trainer session 2. The focus question today is the topic of, your muscles getting bigger. To some of us, that's a great thing. To others, that's not such a great thing. It's come up two ways this week. It's come up from female clients and it's come up from male clients. Really, what's happening when you exercise, you're causing stress to the muscle. Now, if you picture each individual muscle fiber as an individual cell, and within a cell, we know that there's fluid and a variety of nutrients and things that go through to cause a lot of our metabolic processes, as well as strength and functional movement. And what happens is in those cells, we have fluid. So let's say you do a leg day or a heavily leg focused workout, you're going to have an inflammatory response inside of each individual cell, which is in an individual muscle fiber, and we have bundles of muscle fibers within layers of muscle. So, we go from small to really large to try to take this picture in so that the next time you slip on a pair of jeans and you think, oh my God, my legs are getting bigger, this isn't a good thing, then just you need to slow down and think about the process as a whole. Now, a lot of people started January 1st, January 2nd. Today is January 23rd. And a lot of people at this point are starting to say, oh, my legs are getting bigger, or, I'm feeling things tightening up. This is not going the direction I want it to. I'm getting bulky, and all these other things. From a male's perspective, a lot of times I hear that and they're really excited. They think that they're putting muscle on overnight and it's really great and grand. Well, it's only been 20 some days. And I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade, but I'm here to say this is the beginning of the processes. So let's take the individual who has an ample amount of body fat. So we take that person and we're going to start working out, and we're going to start causing a lot of muscle fiber contractions as they're performing movements and things along those lines. So after they're done working out, 2 days later, or within a 2-day period or so, the target muscle group that was worked is going to be going through the decline of an inflammatory response. So the muscle might be inflamed. It's a little fuller or harder or feeling and texture at that point. And as long as that person isn't going to continue to use the same muscle and keep that inflammation level high, that will start to decline. And so during those 2 days or so after the initial workout, the person might get in their pair of clothes and think, oh my gosh, I'm expanding. Well, that inflammation will come down. Now, what's happening with this person who has the higher levels of body fat over the muscle is they're working the muscle underneath the layer of body fat. So we have the muscle fibers contracting under here. Nothing's happening with the body fat, but we're doing all this work on a muscular level. This is like thinking that 1,000,000 crunches are going to get rid of the body fat. No, sorry. Body fat's a level of nutrient intake versus burning it off. So doing all these ab crunches underneath this body fat is not going to get rid of this body fat. Sorry to break your bubble on that one. We can talk about that later. But anyway, so we have this muscle fiber contraction. Nothing's happening on a body fat level because that's going to take some time. So with all those contractions, we're working on the muscle to create metabolism going on a level within the muscle, which is a good thing. The more muscle you have, the more possibility you have to burn. So working the muscle, number one, we're going to get that inflammatory response. We're going to get that tone. So eventually, inflammatory is going to come down. It comes and it goes, it comes and it goes. So once that comes down, over time, and getting this in your mind, we're in that 20-day area. Things are still very, very new. Months down the road, what'll happen is the muscle tightening and toning, whichever word you choose to use, is going to increase. So you're going to feel muscle hardening or muscle tone levels coming up higher. Eventually, while that's getting hard underneath the body fat, eventually the metabolic process will trip. And what's going to happen there is all of a sudden the muscle is going to need this ample amount of resources. And if you're eating really clean, it's going to then all of a sudden tap into the body fat, and the body fat levels are going to come down. And that body fat layer is going to shrink to be less and less and less. And before you know it, you'll have less laying over the muscle. So then the muscle begins to appear for the shape that it actually is. So to try to sum this question up really quickly is, in the beginning of these processes, it's going to take time. Most of what you're feeling is not a negative. It's actually a positive. If you have muscular inflammation, doesn't matter how many years you're trained, you're always going to have that. It's going to come and go, come and go, come and go. So a lot of times, and what I learned through bodybuilding is the week before we go and get on stage, we've built high quality muscle, we've gotten extremely lean, the last thing we want to do is ruin our lines in our muscular striations and things by being inflamed. That's why a lot of bodybuilders a week before they get on stage do not work out. It's part of the reason. Part of it is they want that inflammatory response extremely low, if not present at all, so that the muscle doesn't necessarily lose all the grain and texture to the lines from being swollen. So for the rest of us in the beginning of this fitness process, don't freak out when you put on your pants and you think that your legs are getting huge. You're probably just experiencing a little bit of that piece. After a while, you give yourself a month, a couple months, everybody's a little different. Your muscle tone and muscle hardening might be there. So you might grab your legs or your biceps or whatever muscle you're going to touch, and you're going to notice that it's a lot harder. So don't take it too much to heart. When you begin to notice this, know that it's just a normal process and it's not a negative thing. Let go of the negative thoughts, because it's only going to get in your way and it's going to make you want to slow down in your training. Don't ever do that. This is a beginning process. You have to give anything 3 months a chance in order to really see what's happening. And after 3 months, whether you're introducing a new fitness regimen or a new nutritional plan, I always tell everybody, and this is just my own rule of thumb, do it for 3 months without fail. If at the end of 3 months it's something you've analyzed and it's not working for you, adjust it. But don't do it for a week and say, oh, this ain't working. You're not giving it a fair chance, whether it's a nutrient that you're trying to change, maybe you're omitting a certain something in your training, or you're focusing on something in your training. Give it due diligence, stay with it 3 months, and then go from there as far as making changes. This way you can say, I got this response out of it. This isn't the response I wanted. So now I know for the future and the rest of my training life that I'm not going to maybe adopt this process because this is the result that I got. Or you might find, like in my case, I journal everything from my past. I have training journals from 6-7 years ago. And I can blatantly see how my physique changed and responded to particular methods of training and eating. And if I'm at a certain point, I can go back and I can adopt one of those training modalities to bring it into what I'm currently doing to get the result that I want. Now that's true dedication. That's a lot of years of building up learning and being absolutely dedicated to documentation. I don't expect everybody to do that. So again, the focus today was muscular inflammation and feeling like you're getting bigger and bulkier, when in fact it's not necessarily true, especially this early in the game. Believe me, if you could get big and bulky in 20-some days, there'd be a lot of people beating down my door on figuring out how to get that done. So trust me, you're not getting bulky that fast. So hang in there, and if you ever need me, send me a message at info@Salon Spa Fitness. Otherwise, Kristy at exerciseauthorities.com. Thanks a lot and have a great night.